All right, man, peace. So while Dame Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers is currently making news in regards to his assertion that he would not mind being traded to the LA Lakers to play with LeBron James, he also made some rather inflammatory statements, and I call them inflammatory as opposed to revelatory, because all it's going to do is cause conversation and heated debate over a topic that's going to lead nowhere. And that's in regards to his belief that the WNBA players are underpaid. Let me say this, not only are WNBA players not underpaid, to be quite frank with you, they're overpaid, because the WNBA has been losing money for a very long time now. It's an open secret nobody wants to talk about because they've been trying to push and promote quote-unquote female equality through the sports world. It's not working. This is an experiment that is causing the NBA to lose money, but because they're making so much money from other revenue streams, they just keep it afloat to help promote lesbianism, which is all the WNBA is about, is promoting lesbianism, as Candace Wiggins asserted a couple of years ago, and as is still the case, and has always been the case. All the WNBA is used for is to promote lesbianism, particularly amongst so-called black women. But anyway, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
I do want to get to the other newsworthy comments that he made while he was here in Las Vegas, talking about WNBA players.
Well, as we can see here, Dame Lillard, he's quote-unquote woke. And I try not to come down on these brothers too much because many of them were raised according to Luciferian ideologies. Sometimes they're prompted to make quote-unquote supportive statements for the WNBA because they know that the WNBA is losing money. Once again, it is an open secret. They don't like to talk about it. And many of these NBA players, they do respect the skills of these WNBA players, as they should, because many of those chicks, they can get down. Tarazi, Deladon, Candace Parker, the chick up there with the Minnesota Lynx, they can play. There's no doubt about it. The real issue is that nobody wants to watch them play. Why is that? Because they are emitting male energy. People do not want to watch females emitting male energy. But let's see what Dame Lillard stated here. They deserve to make a lot more money than they do. Well, it's not about deserve, bro. It's about you getting paid commensurate to how much money you generate. And the WNBA is barely staying afloat. Dame says, I think it's time people start recognizing that they are professional athletes and should be treated like it. Well, that's a bit of a loaded statement, because to say that certain people should be treated a certain way because they're a professional athlete, are you trying to say that they should be millionaires because they play a sport for hire? Are you saying that they should be getting more attention from people because their skill level is particularly high? Once again, people don't seem to understand that you're paid or reimbursed in the entertainment industry based on the amount of allure that you're able to inspire in the viewers. You could be a phenomenal actor in Hollywood, but you're not going to get $20 million a movie role if all the films that you're making are art house flicks. Nobody's going to see art house flicks and expect you to be paid $20 million for those roles. You have to be making major budget motion pictures that are expected to generate in the high nine figures in order for you to be getting $30-40 million a movie. That's how that goes. It's not about how great of an actor you are. And that's not even talking about the WNBA. Once again, nobody wants to see those chicks play. The only real female sport that I might find myself watching every once in a while is lingerie football. That's about it. I'm just being real with you. I'm not interested in seeing these chicks grunting and sweating and bumping their titties together, trying to be like men, acting like they chest bumping, trying to jump up in the air, banging their breasts together under their athletic sports bra. Plus, let's be for real, there's only about 3 or 4 chicks in the WNBA that are attractive. Unless you're a hardcore basketball junkie, you're not watching that shit. And all you have to do is look in the audience and see how sparse the crowds are. That league, the WNBA, is on life support. And the fact of the matter is that they were more popular in the late 90s when they had stars that actually seemed to have a little bit, a modicum of femininity, like a Cynthia Cooper, than they are right now. We're living in a day and time period where that lesbian energy is exhorted, it's encouraged. So it's turned off more mainstream fans than it turned off back in the late 90s when it seemed to be more just females trying to play basketball. I think that the understanding was, the implication was that they were lesbians, but nobody really said anything about it. Now they're much more upfront with their sexual proclivities, their so-called sexual orientation. And most heterosexual men are not trying to see that shit.
And by the way, a bunch of NBA players, including Damian Lillard, went to a Las Vegas Aces game the other night. Damian said, quote, The WNBA players deserve to make a lot more money than they do. I think it is time people start recognizing that they are professional athletes and they should be treated like that. And I want.
Well, Dame, that's not quite how business works, brother. The reason why, when it comes time for you to re-up on your contractual obligations to whatever team you choose to play for, you'll be making 9 figures, is because the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar organization, and your style of play generates those billions of dollars. You and your cohorts in the NBA, that's how it works. It's not about how skilled you are. It's about how much people want to watch you play.
And I want to note, this has been a rising conversation in WNBA circles.
Of course it is. Those bros want to be men so bad, they want to be paid like men. They're not going to be bold enough to say that because they're not that dumb. They understand that nobody really wants to watch them play. They know it. And there's no marketing plan. There's no advertising scheme that's going to make how they play and how they look more palatable for the average sports fan. People just do not want to see them play. First off, the majority of them are overly masculine, so-called black women, running around with tattoo sleeves, black gums, bad skin, and blonde-tipped dreadlocks, trying to yell and grunt like men.
And it's not because, guys, WNBA players think they should be paid as much as NBA players.
Diana Taurasi can get down. She's like the Larry Bird of the WNBA. But still, ain't nobody trying to watch her ass play.
They recognize the difference in how much money.
That chick, Elena Deladon, she recently came out as a lesbian about 1.5 years ago. That's another reason why people are not going to be eager to watch these females play. This female right here, Candace Parker, she's allegedly a heterosexual. I know that she had a child with the brother that used to play in the NBA with the Boston Celtics, the funny-looking dude. But of course, after she gave birth to the child, she promptly left him. But supposedly, she's still heterosexual, at least for now. But many of these broads are constantly under pressure from their fellow WNBAers to convert over to lesbianism, i.e. Cheryl Swoops, that they become confused after a while, especially when their fortunes in dating quote-unquote men don't go how they would like. They start to dabble in lesbianism, and it starts to exude itself. That lesbian energy starts to exude itself on the basketball court, in their interviews. People just get turned off. I'm just being real about it.
Each league brings in, but they do want a higher percentage of their league's revenue. Remember, NBA players get about 50% of what the league calls basketball-related income. A Forbes report last year estimated that WNBA players only get about 25% of BRI. So, I mean, what's your reaction overall, especially when Lillard comes out like this?
Well, let me say this first off. The reason why the WNBA players are receiving such a low amount of basketball-related income is because if the NBA or the NBA owners who actually control these WNBA teams were to split the BRI 50-50, they'd be losing money. Because the amount of revenue that's being brought in is not enough for them to make money if they split it with the players 50-50. Now, in regards to how much it costs these owners to stage shows and operate these facilities, it's costing them too much money to split the BRI with these WNBA players 50-50. And I would suppose that if the WNBA players decide to push this issue, they're going to get their feelings hurt, and hurt very badly.
Well, Rachel, 25% is actually, saying it too nice, it's actually closer to around 22%, the BRI split for the WNBA players versus the league. And I had the opportunity to interview Asia Wilson, Kayla McBride, Mariah Jefferson from the Las Vegas Aces the other day. That's what we talked about. It's not about, hey, LeBron made 150 mil this week. Where's my 154 mil?
Well, of course they're not going to say that. They're not that dumb. They understand that they can be as upset as they want. But how upset they are and their demands have to be kept within the realm of reality when we're talking about revenue, money, and business. Because if they decide to not do that, many of these NBA owners are going to launch a campaign against them that once again is going to thoroughly embarrass them. And they don't want those type of problems. They really don't.
It's the idea that why is the league taking such a lion's share of the basketball-related income when...
Because that's the only way that they're going to make money.
At the end of the day, if there are no players, there's no league.
Well, let's be for real. If there's no WNBA players and there's no league, nobody's going to miss them. The worst thing that the WNBA players could do is strike. That's what they don't want to do. It would be better to use certain quote-unquote woke or liberal-minded members of the sports media, or people who are trying to act like they're liberal, like Amin El-Hassan, who I don't believe is liberal, but is trying to act like he is for the sake of this topic. It would be better to use people like you as shills and mouthpieces to try to get many of their grievances put forth to the public than to actually try and strike. Because all they would be doing is precipitating the end of their league, because nobody watches that shit here in America. And it would make it look even worse for them to go overseas and say, we're just going to play overseas and not play in the WNBA anymore, because a lot of the reason why they can get paid so much overseas is due to the marketing that is available to them here in America. I stated this in another video on this topic pertaining to the WNBA. One of the main reasons why the female basketball players from America get paid so well overseas is because markets like Russia and Turkey, they know that they can't tell star NBA players come play in our country in the off season, because those players are making too much money playing in the NBA for them to feel compelled to play overseas. So the next best thing is to get the female professional players who have a certain name and also are willing to play overseas, because they're not making enough money in America to live the lifestyle that they want to live. So it's perfect for everyone involved. If the WNBA players decide to rock the boat too much with the WNBA higher ups, it's not going to fare well for them on any field. It's not going to fare well for them overseas. It's not going to fare well for them domestically. They can decide to just exclusively play overseas, but it's going to lower their marketability because they get a lot of free advertising playing in the WNBA.
And so that's something that unfortunately collectively bargained, so you gotta have to fight for it. But the weird thing is, Rachel, when you think about WNBA players, the advantage they have over NBA players is they can sit out a lockout of a year, 2 years, 10 years.
They have no advantage over NBA players, Amin El Hassan. You sound silly even bringing that up. If they try to sit out 2 years, they will come back to no league. I promise you that.
Years if they want. You know why? Because during the regular season, during their off season, it's a regular season in Europe. So they can go and get paid and take care of their families without having to worry about a WNBA check.
And maybe part of the reason why we haven't seen the WNBA grow quite as much as some basketball fans would like it to be
is because the women are unattractive and overly masculine.
After 15 years of being around, is because players feel compelled to go overseas because of the money.
No, sir, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that you have females emitting male energy, and nobody wants to see that other than lesbians. That is the number one fan base, are lesbians. As a matter of fact, the main marketing campaign for the WNBA coming into this season was them trying to push lesbianism. That's what it was about.
Money's better there, they're treated better there. If the WNBA took better care of their marquee athletes, perhaps they wouldn't find a need for that. And
you can only take as good a care of your employees as they're generating when your business is show business.
And we would get even better product on the court in the States with WNBA. So
there's only so good a product you're going to get from the WNBA. These females are not explosive athletes. Once again, what I'm saying is not based on any type of personal agenda. Many of these WNBA players are great hoopers, they're great ballers, but nobody wants to watch them play. I'm sure I'm going to get brothers who are hardcore hoop heads in my comments. Oh no, I love the WNBA. I have my daughter playing high school basketball. Brother, good for you. Nobody wants to see that shit.
So, you want the league to succeed. The way you do that is invest in your own players.
Dave McMenamin, I'm sure that there are going to be numerous NBA owners that would tell you that we've already overly invested in the WNBA. It's a sinking ship. The only reason why it's still around is because the NBA TV deals are subsidizing that bullshit league.
Absolutely. And look, this is a difficult thing when it comes to negotiations like this. The NBA started the WNBA and certainly funded that league at the beginning in a way that tells you that the league...
And they're still funding that league.
League's intentions overall toward women's basketball are positive.
Not just positive, exemplary. The NBA has gone above and beyond in maintaining that bullshit league. If they wanted to, they could have pulled the plug on the WNBA over 10 years ago.
They launched this league on purpose because they wanted
to spread lesbianism.
To provide that professional outlet for young basketball players in this country, and also because they thought there was good business to invest in female basketball players.
Well, they were wrong.
Which it is.
No, it is not. There is no monetary metric that you can use to substantiate that assertion, Miss Rachel Nichols, that it is good business to invest in a female basketball league. It has failed miserably. Miserably.
The question now is how much of that amount of the pot is going to go to the players themselves.
What pot? The question is, how much is the pot? How much money is in the pot? That's the real question.
There's an option in the collective bargaining agreement that is open next year. I have a feeling the players are going to take that as a chance to renegotiate.
I would love to see them try to renegotiate the dispersal of alleged revenue in the quote-unquote BRI for their league, because I guarantee you that a lot of people are going to get their feelings hurt. And when I say people, I'm talking about the players in the WNBA, as well as many of the liberal female basketball pundits on these networks, especially ESPN.
I mean, thanks so much for joining us today from the arena. Coming up.
But anyway, that's basically it on that topic. We'll see what happens with the WNBA and their attempts to assert this notion that they're underpaid. Peace.